The Atlanta Falcons are facing one of their most important draft decisions in years. With the 15th overall pick and playoff hopes high, there's no room for error this time. They can't afford to make mistakes, especially on defense. That's why there's been so much excitement around this topic, and we're here to discuss it. Be sure to hit that like button and stay tuned for all the updates. Let's dive into the growing buzz about Michael Williams, a player who has caught a lot of attention. There's a shift happening in Flowery Branch, and if this draft goes as many expect, it could signal a new commitment to building a strong defensive front. So, what makes Williams such an interesting prospect coming out of the University of Georgia? After 3 impressive seasons, he brings more than just good stats to the table. At 6 feet 5 inches and 245 pounds, he has the kind of versatility that few defensive ends in this draft can match. According to Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic, Williams embodies the heart of this draft class with his elite athleticism, untapped potential, and flashes of brilliance, even if he hasn't been completely consistent. What really stands out to the Falcons is his quickness off the snap. It's not just about speed, it's about how explosively he reacts in that first step, allowing him to pressure offensive tackles before the play even starts. These traits make him a dangerous player, especially in a division with mobile quarterbacks like Bryce Young and Baker Mayfield. The Falcons haven't had that kind of athletic presence on the edge in years. While Leonard Floyd, the team's $10 million free agent signing, helps in the short term, he's 31 years old and on a 1-year deal. He's not the long-term solution. Williams, on the other hand, could be. His sack numbers, 14 over 3 seasons, might not jump out at you, but that's partly due to how Georgia used him. He wasn't just a full-time pass rusher. He was part of a system that focused on containment and discipline rather than just piling up stats. What's more important is his ability to line up inside and create mismatches. Baumgardner points out that Williams can play as a 3 technique in a 4-man front, giving Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Albrecht a unique piece to work with, especially in NASCAR packages. This flexibility allows the Falcons to use Williams alongside Arnold Ebiketie, who excels as a speed rusher in open space. Together, they could finally provide Atlanta with the diverse pass rush it has been missing for over a decade. And here's the kicker: Atlanta has never selected a Georgia Bulldog in the first round. Choosing Williams would not only show a shift in how the Falcons value pass rushers, but also break a strange trend of passing on top in-state talent. While all eyes are on Williams, head coach Raheem Morris has been careful not to reveal the team's plans during league meetings in Palm Beach. He stressed the need for a strong pass rush, but made it clear that the team isn't locked into picking an edge rusher at 15. "You don't necessarily control the draft," Morris explained. "You want to address your needs. But sometimes you have to let the draft board come to you. This uncertainty is part of the strategy." Head coach Raheem Morris has personally visited pro days at schools like Georgia, Marshall, Ohio State, and Texas A&M. This isn't just routine, it's active scouting. He's seen top-tier talent like Jalen Carter, Mike Green, JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, Shamar Stewart, and Shamar Turner. These aren't just names, they're potential franchise cornerstones. The Falcons are clearly doing their homework on this draft class, looking for more than just impressive sack totals. So, how does Williams compare to these other prospects? His strengths lie in his versatility and consistency. While Stewart and Green may shine in testing, and Tuimoloau has big-game production, Williams has demonstrated NFL-caliber traits in nearly every area. Plus, he comes from a pro-style system at Georgia. When you add in the benefits of local scouting and familiarity, it's easy to see why he's climbing to the top of Atlanta's draft board. However, even with all this focus on defense, the Falcons are also dealing with one of the most unpredictable quarterback situations in the league. Kirk Cousins, the current quarterback in Atlanta, has been the subject of trade rumors, particularly involving the Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers. The Athletic's Diana Russini and Jacob Robinson recently suggested that Pittsburgh might consider Cousins if their draft plans for a quarterback don't pan out, especially since they don't have a second-round pick. But this idea might be more speculative than solid. James Palmer from Bleacher Report reported that Arthur Smith, now with the Steelers and previously the Falcons head coach, still has connections in Atlanta and isn't pushing for Cousins. If Smith has done his research and isn't impressed, Pittsburgh won't make a move, no matter how logical it seems on paper. Cousins' no-trade clause adds another layer of complexity. His camp reportedly won't even consider waiving it until after the draft, leaving the Falcons in a waiting game. This means Atlanta has to prepare for two scenarios, one where Cousins stays and one where he's traded after the draft. The team must balance this uncertainty with the urgent need to strengthen their pass rush. It's a fascinating situation. The Falcons are weighing a potential quarterback trade while actively scouting elite defensive talent. They aren't just rebuilding, they're recalibrating. They've already moved on from veterans like Grady Jarrett and seem unlikely to bring back Matthew Judon. New signing Morgan Fox, who has recorded 15.5 sacks over the last 3 seasons, adds to the mix. But like Floyd, he's not a long-term solution. So, what does all this mean? If the Falcons select Michael Williams at 15, it shows they're ready to make a bold move. Choosing him would signal a new commitment to building a strong, versatile front that can keep up with today's mobile quarterbacks and disruptive offenses. On the other hand, if they decide to trade down or go in a different direction, that tells us something important too. Now, I want to hear from you. What would you do at 15? Do you want Michael Williams? Should the Falcons finally take a chance on a Bulldog in the first round? And what are your thoughts on the ongoing Kirk Cousins situation? Share your opinions in the comments. As we look ahead, the stakes couldn't be clearer. The Falcons are at a true crossroads, balancing loyalty to proven veterans like Kirk Cousins with the need to inject youth and energy into a defense that hasn't cracked the top 10 in sacks since 2004. Raheem Morris knows the numbers. He understands that 31 sacks last year just wasn't enough. Relying on Leonard Floyd and Morgan Fox, both over 30, can't be the long-term answer. That's why Michael Williams might not just be the right pick. He could be the only pick that makes sense. With his inside-outside versatility, explosive first step, and experience against top competition, Williams fits exactly what Atlanta needs: dynamic disruption. Selecting him wouldn't just break the trend of avoiding edge rushers in the first round or Georgia players in round 1. It would send a strong message to the rest of the league that the Falcons are serious about building a defense that can win now. Meanwhile, the question of Kirk Cousins continues to loom. If the draft ends and neither Cleveland nor Pittsburgh lands a quarterback, the phone calls will start coming in. But remember, Cousins holds the leverage with his no-trade clause. If he's not interested in moving, Atlanta could be stuck with him longer than they expect, good or bad. Here's the reality. With pressure on the coaching staff to deliver results and a fan base eager for real postseason hope, the Falcons' decisions in the coming weeks could shape the next 5 years. If they draft a game-changer on defense and handle the Cousins situation wisely, this team could finally break through. So, should Michael Williams be the pick at 15, or do you have your eye on someone else in this talented edge class? Comment below with your draft choice. And if you want full coverage of every Falcons move, including trades and picks, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now. Go Falcons!